10, 11, and 12, we're still rationalizing the denominator. They still want you to know that, oh, if it's under one big square root, I could put them both under a square root and say, oh, this is the same thing as the square root of 2 over square root of 3. Again, we can't reduce that down, so we want to rationalize the denominator by doing what?
Multiplying it by square root of 3.
Taking it times the square root of 3. And if I do that, I'm going to get
Square root of 6 over square root of 9.
square root of 6 over square root of 9. And then taking the square root of 9, I would get an answer of square root of 6 over 3. And again, I can't reduce that because one's under a square root and the other one is not under the square root, which is the point of rationalizing the denominator. Oops, number 11. So I want to rationalize the denominator and simplify on that one. Looking at that one, what might I want to do first?
Put both under square root.
I could do that. I could make that the square root of 3 over the square root of 21. Then what might I want to do with that?
Times them by 21.
I could do that, but I could make my problem a little bit easier.
Can we simplify?
Oh, I can simplify, right? 3 over 21, I can divide those both by 3. That's going to make my problem. But I could multiply by the square root of 21. I just have really big numbers to work with. So it's easier if I can reduce first. So if I reduce them down, what am I going to get?
1 over 7.
Square root of 1
Oh, yeah, square
over
root
the
of
square root of 7, right? Now what might I want to do with that? Multiply by the square root of 7. And if I multiply by the square root of 7, what would I get?
Square root of 7 over square root of 49.
Exactly. Square root of 7 over the square root of 49. And then simplifying that, I'm going to have
Square root of 7 over 7.
square root of 7 over 7. And again, now my denominator is rationalized. I can't reduce because one's under a square root and the other one's not under a square root. Number 12, same thing, rationalizing my denominator. So what should I do with that
Put them both under square root.
one? Make that the square root of 7 over the square root of 3.
And then times by the square root of 3.
And times by the square root of 3. I would then have the square root of 21 over the square root of 9. Right, 21 over 9 is not the same thing as the square root of 21 over the square root of 9, because now I got to do my square roots, or the only one I can do. So my answer is going to be
Square root of 21 over 3.
square root of 21 over 3. Be careful when you're typing those in on Alex. I would hit the fraction button first, because if you don't, they're going to try to put the square root over the whole fraction, and it's going to look like this, which is not the same thing as that. So hit the fraction button first, then put the square root on top and the plain number on the bottom so that it goes in correctly. And you say, how come I got the wrong answer? I did it right.